Your mind is not a prison, but overthinking is the warden. You know the feeling. It's late. The lights are off. You're finally in bed. But instead of drifting into sleep, you replay that one sentence you said earlier. You wonder if they misunderstood you. You imagine different ways you could have said it. You wonder if you were too much or not enough. You spiral. Suddenly, what should have been rest becomes a mental marathon. Your heart races. Your breath shortens. Your mind loops tirelessly, endlessly. This is overthinking. It's not just annoying. It's exhausting. It steals your peace, your time, your confidence. It takes a tiny moment and magnifies it into a monster. It leaves you feeling stuck, anxious, and alone, trapped in a prison made of your own thoughts. And here's the truth, it's not your fault. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're human. But what if I told you there's a way out? Not through force or distraction, but through philosophy. Not just any philosophy. Stoicism. A school of thought born over 2,000 years ago in the marketplaces of Athens and the halls of Rome. Practiced by emperors, generals, and thinkers. Designed for resilience. Built for clarity. Made to help you let go of what you can't control and focus on what you can. Today we're going to explore 3 timeless Stoic tools to help you break free from the cycle of overthinking and move toward a clearer, calmer mind. These aren't abstract ideas. They're practical, simple, powerful, and they've worked for centuries. So if you're tired of the noise in your mind, if you crave stillness, if you just want to breathe again, stay with me. This might just be the video that changes everything for you. Let's begin by looking at overthinking through the lens of the Stoics. The Stoics believe that we don't suffer from the events in our lives. We suffer from our judgments about those events. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who ruled over millions, wrote in his private journal, "Today I escaped anxiety." Or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. Overthinking is just that, suffering born not from reality but from the stories we tell ourselves about reality. When you replay a conversation for the 10th time, trying to decode every word, you're trying to control something that already happened. When you stress about tomorrow's meeting, imagining every possible way it could go wrong, you're trying to control the future, which hasn't even arrived. And that's the core insight of Stoicism. There are things within your control and things outside your control. Worrying about the latter is wasted energy. Focusing on the former is the key to peace. Overthinking is the mind's desperate attempt to control the uncontrollable. It's trying to predict, to fix, to rewrite, to prevent. But Stoicism gives you a framework to step back and refocus. Let's explore 3 tools the Stoics used and how they can help you right now. Number 1, the view from above. First, imagine you could rise above your own life. Literally. Picture yourself floating above the room you're in, then above your neighborhood, then your city, your country. Keep zooming out until you're seeing the earth from space. Now, ask yourself, does that thing you're obsessing over still feel as big? This is called the view from above, and it's a classic Stoic exercise. It helps reduce emotional charge by shrinking your perceived problem into its proper scale. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of how small human affairs are in the grand sweep of time and nature. Modern use? Try this during moments of anxiety, a work email that makes your chest tighten, a relationship moment that spins your head. Pause. Zoom out. See the moment as one frame in a much larger picture. You'll find space, and with space comes clarity. Number 2, negative visualization, premeditatio malorum. The next tool might sound strange at first. Imagine the worst-case scenario. Why would anyone do that? Because fear has power when it's vague. But when you bring it into the light, describe it, feel it, it loses its grip. This practice is called premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of adversity. Seneca did it often. So did Epictetus. Let's say you're spiraling about an upcoming decision. You ask, what if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if it all falls apart? Instead of running from these questions, walk into them. Imagine what it would look like if the worst happened. Name it. Sit with it. Then ask, could I survive this? In most cases, the answer is yes. And suddenly, fear becomes preparation. Anxiety becomes a plan. You're no longer avoiding the future. You're ready for it. Try this the next time you find yourself rehearsing every possible thing that could go wrong. Not to scare yourself, but to strip fear of its mystery. Number 3, reflective journaling. The final tool is simple but transformative. Write it down. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Journaling brings imagination to paper, where it can be seen, questioned, and reframed. When your mind is overloaded, grab a pen. Start with these Stoic prompts. What exactly am I thinking about right now? Is this within my control? What would a wise person do in this situation? What virtue is needed here? Courage, patience, humility? Journaling isn't just writing. It's sorting, clarifying, choosing your response instead of being swept by reaction. Over time, it becomes a daily practice of mental hygiene, like brushing your teeth but for your thoughts, putting it into practice. So what happens when you feel yourself spiraling again? Pause, breathe, and ask, what am I really trying to control here? Use the tools. Zoom out to get perspective. Visualize the worst to shrink fear. Write it down to restore clarity. Let Stoicism be your anchor, not just a philosophy but a practice. Because peace doesn't come from knowing the future. It comes from knowing yourself. Let's take a moment to reflect. What have we learned? When your mind is caught in the endless loop of overthinking, you don't need to think harder, you need to think clearer. And that clarity begins with perspective. The Stoics offer us 3 timeless tools. The view from above helps you rise above the moment, shrinking your worries down to size. Negative visualization helps you face the worst-case scenario, reducing the fear that feeds your spiral. Reflective journaling helps you transform emotional chaos into structured insight, a way to respond, not react. These tools don't eliminate problems. They train the mind to stop amplifying them. They remind us that overthinking is not a personal flaw. It's simply the mind doing its best, in the absence of structure. An overactive mind isn't broken, it's just untrained. And this is where Stoicism shines. It doesn't ask you to run away. It doesn't ask you to numb out. It invites you to come home, to a place of inner stillness, of clarity, of strength. A place where you don't have to control the world to feel safe. Where you only have to control what's within you. So here's the invitation. Try one of these Stoic tools today. Even just 5 minutes of writing. Even just one pause to zoom out. Even one brave moment of imagining what you fear most, and realizing you can handle it. You don't need more noise. You need direction. You need discipline. You need a philosophy that was built for the storms of life. And Stoicism is just that. If this resonated with you, stay with us. Comment below, what's one thing you tend to overthink? And which of these tools will you try first? Subscribe for more insights like this, ancient wisdom, modern clarity. And remember, You are not your thoughts. You are the one who decides what they mean.